Just holding on to backside control. That allows Zeta to come out of spawn. And they got a couple angles to play with. Cloud9 not done just yet. In fact, taking the advantage in this one.
Ice alone here. The snake bite's not going to bite nearly hard enough. Zeta's going to get the defuse, and Cloud9 is going to win the round. And really, it was Zeta, right? It was Zeta's flashes coming in from defender spawn that really opened things up. You mentioned how Leaf didn't have the paint shells, and at that point, there's really nothing to stop them, right? Like, they can just waltz their way right through that without really any concern for what Leaf can do to them. But it was the utility just in the nick of time from the sky that opened things up, that gave Zeta room to work, and the rest of Cloud9 be able to get in there just fine. And the other thing I want to draw attention to is oftentimes when you see a Viper, a lot of the round is dictated, is really played around that utility. So in the previous round, Vice puts up the wall in the same spot, and Cloud9 just pushed right through it, right? And you saw Floppy get punished, but we've already seen Cloud9 showing willingness to kind of call the bluff and say, yeah, man, like, we're not super worried about this. We can stick it.
Now it's just about chilling because they've got that weaponry advantage. They don't want to be too aggressive and give Andbox a chance to overrun them. So just allowing Andbox to take some position, knowing that they can deal with it with those long ranges. And there's the presence now felt. Flashes sent up towards A-Ramp. That might convince some utility to be used by Cloud9, but rotations coming through sewers now. It's looking tough here, I gotta say, Doug, for Andbox. They don't really seem to have any way in anywhere.
No.
And B main control's being lost as well, thanks to Floppy.
And Mitch is in a great spot to kind of eliminate the middle of the map as well. As we see, he's already gotten two. The last one's going to challenge him, and Boy's going to win that duel. Upgrade the weapon, but with 11 health left into a 1v4. You imagine this round can be really signed, sealed, and delivered. Floppy cleans him up as Cloud9 take a 2-0 lead. And Dan, it really was eliminating options for Andbox. You couldn't work A. B, they didn't know this, but B certainly wasn't an option because Floppy had already taken all of that garage presence. All that was left was the middle of the map, and Mitch was there with open arms.
Indeed. But now the story's changed a little bit because we have Cloud9 on a somewhat of a bonus. You know, we're seeing Floppy actually with that Judge and full rifles from Andbox. So this is where you might start to understand what the default will look like. We see the fault line coming in from Boy, from sewers, all the way towards Mail to prevent any early peaks. And that's given some control of mid from Andbox to Andbox. And Poise is going to get caught on the aggression there. The paint shell's a little bit late, perhaps, as he's very far gone from that position. Now is Mr. Vice. Now Andbox have won B main control. You can see the desperation for Cloud9 after that initial frag was lost. They're trying to push. They're trying to get advantages back. But instead, the disadvantages compound and become greater.
Spike planted.
Very similar to look to what we saw in the pistol, but this time it doesn't seem like Cloud9's going to be able to take the presence back that they did previously. As they're in a 5v2, make that a 5v1 as Leaf is left alone. And again, we mentioned this round one, right? They're willing to push through the Viper utility and call the bluffs and like full send and go for it. Leaf might be putting some magic together, but Vice, oh Vice playing spoiler takes care of him. But Andbox get on the board.
I mean, that's actually so awesome from Leaf. You know, he's going to be able to secure the showstopper because of the extra kills. A lot of economic damage was done as well. And otherwise, if Leaf doesn't get anything there, that really alleviates a lot of possible pressure. But we see Leaf's able to get 3 kills before dying. That's excellent work from Leaf. And Cloud9 might try to open up with a play, perhaps in mid or something like that. And it looks like it's not going to be the case here as we go into the game. But the showstopper can be used for early aggressive plays. We'll see, though, if it makes an appearance later in the rounds. So we get a trade through B main. And the wall goes up B main as well to slow things down. And Andbox, they got to figure out, okay, we've got a 4v4 advantage, loads of time left. And now onto some mid control. And then they can decide which way to go.
Yeah, but, I mean, Leaf is waiting on the other side. He's got the showstopper. Zeta's pinching in as well. And you also see Floppy just around the corner. Leaf can blow this up. Leaf goes in aggressive. He's good for one. The flash, no, opts to hold it. Boy punishes him. Leaf's finally going to drop, but the spike's going to follow there as well.
This is tough because the spike position is known by Cloud9. That's a great paranoia. That's going to send him back. Viso taking down Poise, but still, spike control is with Floppy. He can still win this round for Cloud9. He's going to reposition away from Mail.
Cover going out.
And is the spike inside ropes? It kind of looks like it's not. It's actually a little bit outside.
Yeah.
And they're going to have to go forward to Floppy. Oh, it's not going to work out for them, though.
So Floppy had a great setup, right? Like you mentioned, the spike was on the other side of ropes, but he just wasn't able to handle the aggression as a raise blasted right into his face, and he eventually dropped. That's going to tie us up at 2 apiece. Cloud9's going to be walking in, I mean, limping into this round with a pistol. They've got a couple of sheriffs in a frenzy, but not a ton else. What they do have is ultimates, right? They've got the res. Leaf has a showstopper. Poise has the Empress as well, so they can dial something up. But you know, often the question in a situation like this is, well, is that worth investing, given the fact that you know you don't have the weapon advantage?
Yeah, it's a tough one. You know, I was also, you know, maybe expecting to see something in that previous round, as I mentioned with the showstopper, but at the same time, it can be kind of predictable because, you know, we can see, and of course Cloud9 know that Leaf has a showstopper, but so do Andbox. They have that information too. So the way that the attackers will respect the ultimates of the opposing team will often be apparent in how passive they approach the beginning of the round. And right now it's a gamble towards the A side of the map for Cloud9. Again, just as you mentioned, Doug, the weaponry really sucks for Cloud9, so they want to just take a gamble. We want to keep the numbers alive, and we want to just gamble that they're going to go towards A. And if that's the case, we're going to have a round. If it's not the case, well, we can try to play for exit kills. And looks like Andbox guessed correctly. And it's going to be about some exit frags here for Cloud9.
Yeah, you wonder. I mean, maybe if they get a little something cooking early on, they might dial up a bit more, maybe willing to invest a bit more as far as ultimates go. You've really got nothing to lose in a situation like this, and you can even tell with how aggressively they're playing this out. They're willing to play with comfort. Boy's going to use Rolling Thunder, try to delay some of that push early on, but the presence across the middle of the map is just too much, right? Andbox, their gun advantage on full display in that round.
Yeah, and they did a good job to only lose one player there at the end. You can see the integrity of their economy is at an all-time high. And it's not really something that we could say so much for Haven. That Haven game was a brutal battle between both teams. No one ever really winning rounds with too many players left alive. We get the operator on Mitch, interestingly. So it'll be fun to see how that pans out for Mitch. And whether we'll get an opening through onto the B main control. That can be... You want to try to win something here. B main's a little bit easier than some other... than A main. And you can see Andbox, they've got the Ice Orb there. That's such a strong counter to A main control.
Mm-hmm. And the flash out of Zeta did not tag. Yeah, as he's pushing his way through. So there was no information gathered there. That's really all there is so far.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Look how slow Cloud9 is playing right now. They know that the showstopper's out. They know that Andbox are, or this way, that Cloud9 are really wanting to get an aggression going. They're looking for a moment to just pounce on their opponents. And Andbox aren't giving it to them. But with that said, there's a minute left. And Andbox are only just now getting a ramp control. Wow. And the spike's down towards the B side of the map. So Andbox have to be careful they don't outplay themselves on the clock right now.
You see from Cloud9, they're able to get that kill in the garage, and then they really double down their efforts, and they push in even more aggressively to try to take some of that space away. And for Andbox, really, again, the game is take away options. Mata looking to get aggressive up in heaven. No, he's going to get punched right in the mouth by Floppy. He's going to get dropped. Not without taking Zeta down with him. And now, oh my gosh, Dan, A's open. A's absolutely open. Cloud9's going to have to hightail it to get back onto the site in time, but it's gonna be on Leaf initially. Leaf with the showstopper, buying time. Good for, oh my gosh, he's good for 2. The rest comes up as well. Leaf finally drops. Boy's in a great spot. He picks up the spike and is looking to get it down. He doesn't have an ultimate. Doesn't have teammates. And he doesn't even have full armor or health. This is a brutal spot to be in. An operator staring him down. Zeta on the other side. Oh, Cloud9. Cloud9 tie us up at 3 apiece. This is, Dan, this is Haven all over again, right? These two teams are just going to go back and forth.
Yeah, it's just so fun to, like, the realization here. I was like looking at the minimap and the rotations, and I'm like, Leaf's gonna make it there in time, and he's got a showstopper, and we're seeing just such, like, he held on to it for like 2 or 3 rounds.
Yeah.
Because if we think back, like, Leaf had that available after like the first like 3 or 4 rounds, so that was a great moment to use it finally, and with that, you know, Poise has the Empress, but other than that, it's actually Andbox that have the ults that could be very problematic. They've got the Res available, Viper's Pit, as well as Showstoppers. So 3-3 right now, and it's going to be B main control opening, coming in again. The Ice Orb there, as we have seen many year rounds. And here it is, the Operator, and that's why it's there. That's why it's on Mitch. Oh, but can he survive?
No, Mitch drops.
That's a no.
No, Mata's Showstopper cleans him up, and Mata's looking for more as he gets onto Floppy as well. Zeta has shown up, however, for Cloud9. He's not able to do anything as Mata already has 3. He does eventually drop at the hands of the Pain Shells, or Pineapple, as you so affectionately put. But now Leaf looking to creep forward onto the side of 2v2 here, and the spike might just flip onto the map. You've got plenty of time. What I do love is, though, Vice, he's on the flank. He's also got the Viper's Pit. Can you imagine he just wants to play spoiler here? No, Poise winning that 1v1. And now it's all on Boy.
And this is sort of not quite as bad as how the last round looks, but it's similar in the sense that Boy's in this clutch on the A side, playing the post plant. And it's going to be a tough one to win. You can see that both Leaf and Poise are playing together here, and no satchels available. No paint shells or really any utility for them except the Leah, but that might be enough. You can see Boy he wants to clear these close angles, knowing that he'll have enough time to plant still. So might as well try to get clear as deep as possible. This will give Boy a better understanding as to how he can position himself post-plant. Knowing that there's not anyone super close there, he can make a play into screens if he plants close himself. So he might indeed, because he has to go forward here. So making a play into screens now is probably going to be the best choice as he makes his way forward, as he just cleared these positions. And this might be enough of a surprise to get that first frag to play the 1v1s. And with that, there's a chance for Boy as he creeps around the back. The sound cues are there. The gun's going to come out. There's the 1v1. That's so quick from Boy. There's the fault line. Is it going to be a stick from Leaf? He's going to come off of it. And here goes Boy with the swing. But it's Leaf. It's Leaf who makes it work. Great stuff from him and holds it down for the 4-3 scoreline.
Oh, and at the end, it was the numbers advantage, right? Because Boy he played it beautifully, right? You mentioned pushing into screens, working their way around, and he was behind him, right? Like he had the play in front of him. He even used the utility, understanding exactly where the plant was. Unfortunately, didn't have the Rolling Thunder to make a difference there. Now he's going to have it online, but again, it was just a numbers advantage at the end. Cloud9 able to bring a little bit more to the party than Boy could bargain with. And now from Andbox, now we've seen some of this like slow orb paint shells, but it's actually a notably different flavor here, Dan.
Yeah, they're not doing it because they're trying to suggest that they're not actually here and they're going to contact it instead. But the problem is this wall. And so now their presence has been announced. And I mean, at least the Ice Orb was saved, but you can see that Cloud9 have a pretty good understanding of exactly what's going on at this point. And there's the paranoia. That's going to slow them down. And this is a problem now. They might have to abandon this one. It's taken simply far too long to get entry to this site. So they reset the situation, but not all is lost. They forced some utility used, and they also force rotations. And also, Cloud9 have to make some information plays. They have no idea if Andbox is rotating off of this or if they're going to sit and then re-exec onto B.
Which looks like that's what they're going to do. They have plenty of time, too, where they can post up, cut noise, and then really think through how they want to play this. Also worth noting, a couple of really key ultimates available on the side of Andbox. You've got the Rolling Thunder, and there it is. It's going to clear out onto the side. An excellent flash, though, on the counter. Floppy's there. Floppy's good for 2. Seb trades one out as he's looking for more. He's good for it. The Spectre proving to be exactly what the doctor ordered in that moment for Andbox as Vice gets the spike down.
And there's the Viper's Pit. Oh, Leaf almost had the spray, but he's got a freebie. Boy goes down, and with that, it's a wild spray into the Viper's Pit. But how do they deal with this? They don't have any natural counters. It's just going to have to be the case of just running it in and spraying them down. And that's exactly what's going to happen for Seb and Vice, as they are just staring at nothing but dirt right now. And the round will be won by Cloud9. What a great retake from them.
Everything, man, everything across the board. The fact that Andbox has to use the Viper's Pit there after they get the spike down, but Leaf showed up just in the nick of time to see exactly where it was from. Right, like he saw it happen, so he was able to play things out. The Rolling Thunder was invested, and the flash from Sky opened that up. Right, like that's what allowed them that early presence to be able to fight back early onto the Viper's Pit and take the site back. It was just a beautiful display from top to bottom from Cloud9. That's what won them that round.
Yeah, and I really like the approach because I mean, there's so much to it, like break down there, and I just don't have time to do it, sadly. So into the next round we go. And it looks like we'll have a big presence around mid-air. Fight for mid. Flash is sent forward by Zeta, so Cloud9 can get some early control here, and they don't have to hold control, but just taking it away and then receding is good. It's a strong move.
So check out Mitch. Very different look. Walled up, bottom of A, and just left. Right now he has to step back because the Viper shot the wall out, so they've got to respect where that play is. But now that's keeping Mitch elsewhere on the site while the fight's happening across the middle of the map, and Andbox have the numbers advantage.
So there goes the take of mid, and it's going to be a quick split to ropes. There's no messing around at this point.
Mitch is in trouble.
And it's going to be up to Mitch to try to hold this down. He's got to get enough kills in this situation. He'll take down a boy, and there's no trade to be had, and Zeta's in there right in the nick of time to take down Marta. And now with that, it's a horrible situation. Although maybe not quite as bad as he's able to at least equalize things on the numbers into a 2v2. And with that lurking position available for Seb, there might be some shenanigans here afoot for Cloud9 to have to deal with.
Yeah, but he's got... So if the play is for Ye to rotate out, he's got to make noise, right? He's got to draw attention this way, but it looks like he wants to go back, so noise has been cut from both of them. And you see Floppy, as you've mentioned, they have to play for information. They have no idea where the spike is. And it's not like Floppy has it from the shadows to quickly show up on one site, so he's going to be late to the party. Which means that the time for the defuse, if the spike goes down, is going to be less than it would be otherwise. Andbox, excuse me, Cloud9 are going to have to play this very well in order to win this round.
And this is a patience game in many respects for pretty much everybody. You know, Zeta can't really do anything until his teammate gets there, except to get some good positioning. So Zeta's able to clear a lot of spots here, so he knows that everybody's on site. There goes the blind through to elbows, so again, clearing some possibilities. They have to be backside. Zeta wins the 1v1 with the help of Floppy, and now it's just Seb at the back. He can play between the wall and the screen, but Zeta's good! And that's the round going to Cloud9. Again, these clutch retakes, I just can't, Doug. They're so good, these guys. So good!
So they paranoia around elbow. The wall is up to block off that side of screens. So there's really only one way. There's one like pinch point, Dan, where everything is gonna go down. And while it looked close for a minute, I mentioned prior to the retakes that Cloud9 was gonna have to play that so well because of time, because of everything that was kind of stacked up the way that it was. And again, Cloud9 are playing these rounds beautifully. This recent addition of Floppy, the way the rosters have changed, Cloud9 really looks like they're finding their stride at just the right time.
So we got that B main presence coming through from Andbox. I say presence, they actually didn't make really any noise. There was a full line, but that was about it. So looking to maybe catch somebody off guard. That's a great jump peek from Floppy. Gets the info, allows Cloud9 to respond without losing anything. And although the AWP goes the way of Andbox need more than that. They need to get onto a site, and need to play a spike plant, but that's going to be so hard because, again, they don't have the weaponry to do it. So need to find ways to at least get damage. That's like the first objective here. Find a way to get a couple kills and then try to build from that. And Vice is asking questions here as well.
Yeah, they do. You mentioned they need to have damage, but they also need information, and right now they don't have any. They weren't able to get any info on B. They have no idea what's happening across mid, and because of the wall from Mitch towards A, they haven't been able to really explore that side of the map either. So right now they're really blindly walking into this without understanding what's happening around them.
There they go. Oh no, Leaf. He's going to actually pop the showstopper. Not trying to give them even a smidge of a chance in this one. And they are dropping like flies. And it's just boy left with 1 HP. And he's actually going to find a frag with 1 HP with 1 bullet. And there it is. 7-3. Cloud9 looking real good here on the defense. And Andbox are just not having the success. that they are perhaps used to on their attack right now.
We'll see what they dial up here. Again, they've got the Showstopper, they've got the Rolling Thunder available, and they're going to have rifles, right? And armor across the board. So you imagine here, given how the last couple of rounds have gone, this is where Andbox really has to dial up something special, something pretty, to really catch Cloud9 off guard, because you can very quickly see this become a 9-3, right? You lose this, you're on a less than ideal buy, and that compounds very quickly. Oh, info.
Yeah, there is a little bit of info there, and also we got Cloud9 playing on top of the wall on B main. So with that dark cover, they can take over control of B main. And it looks like Cloud9, they've got a pretty good read of what's happening. They're adjusting their positioning, and they're trying to keep things safe. They're giving up a lot of grounds, but at the same time, again, it's really up to Andbox at this point to really force the issue on the sites, because these early fights are not being given. And there's been a lurk left in ropes with Marder, and he has a showstopper. Boy has the Rolling Thunders for the clear of this B site, but they may not expect Floppy to be so deep. There goes the flash. They're looking for him, and he's down.
Wall is no longer an option as well. So Mitch, there's really the only thing in between him and the remaining members of Andbox is the operator in his hand, but Andbox understanding that they're actually just going to flip the map. Mata, there was that lurk that you mentioned. He's dropped. And again, you find yourself in a position like this where the rotator's gone, right? Like the lurk is gone. You've got to really kind of brute force your way into the site, and that's exactly what Vice is able to do. The Rolling Thunder is going to come out. Tags up Poise, but they don't check it. Poise good for one. Poise good for a second as well. The spike goes down. Seb is left alone in a 1v4. This one absolutely sideways, Dan.
Cloud9 looking so damn good, man. They're playing this so well. They didn't give Andbox anything that they were looking for. You know, they were so... They really wanted to find some value in mid. They really wanted to find some value on those early aggressions, but Cloud9, they forced them to commit so deep before they reveal their own hand, and it's making life tough. And we might see, though, with that said, a fight over mid is possible. Marder still has that showstopper, and he's surely looking to use it. This is the final round, so we can absolutely expect that to be the case.
Just all right, there's the showstopper. Mata taking the middle of the map, it also taking Poise down. As we see some value come out from that, and Vice is able to get one as well. So they've got something cooking here in the final round of the half, but how do they close it out? How do they get past this to a round win? Mitch, he's got the op in his back pocket, but he really just has to back up from here. Oh man, Zeta gets aggressive as well. EA punishes him. They're going to be able to mosey their way onto A. Remaining members of Cloud9, they're going to show up, but it might be a bit too late. No, Floppy's caught as well. Oh. An excellent response from Andbox.
Yeah, definitely. Getting those early picks really helps destabilize everything, and that showstopper satchel play was certainly seemed to pull the linchpin out for Cloud9's defense, and that's in the last round of the first half here. But Cloud9, you know, very, very strong lead going into the second half, going into their attacking side with the 8-4, and Leaf held onto that showstopper for a while, but it counted. As soon as he pulled it out, it was the perfect moment. And it's definitely looking good for Cloud9 here, I gotta say, Doug. And Andbox, you know, they need the win on Split. They're down a map if you're just joining us. So Andbox have a hell of a lot of work to do if they're, you know, truly looking to use this series to get their way to the Challengers Finals.
And then you've got to remember too, Dan, like, you know who's waiting on the other side of this? TSM. The TSM that everyone has said is back, right? Like the TSM of old, you could argue, from old lore, has shown back up, and that's who's waiting on the other side of the series. Andbox have to respond. Now we've got them on the defending side, and you presume, given history of this map, given what we just saw Cloud9 do, Andbox should be in a bit of a more advantageous position. But they've got to convert. They've got to deliver.
And I like how Andbox are approaching this right now. You know, they're playing really passive on this A side. They can give up the side if they want and just play for the retake. And if they keep screens control, it's going to look good for that retake effort. But we'll see exactly what Cloud9 are able to do. In fact, Sep's actually going to go into elbow, and they're going to fight for this one. He's got the paranoia, and they're actually closing down. Andbox are closing down position on the site.
Flipping it.
Oh, what a reaction, though. Into ropes, into the B play instead. That's beautiful. But still, Marta's going to force the issue in defense, and up mail they go, and Leaf gets it done, and that's a clear path now for the plant.
Ye was there. He was the one who was supposed to stop that play from expanding the way that it did, and he just got freaking hit in the jaw with the jumping classic and drops. Now, boys, just on the other side, able to get one. They're going to push in aggressively. They're looking for the last kill. It's Poise who gets it. Cloud9 win the pistol. Certainly not what you wanted to see if you're an Andbox fan.
Yeah, it looks like Andbox had a great approach to begin with, but what's really interesting is I was like, oh, I really like that they're able to like set up for retake. But because they actually decided to preemptively commit into the site and commit onto the site, they created a huge opening in towards ropes and heaven, which is exactly what Cloud9 had the cognizance to exploit. So I don't know. I feel like both teams did a great job with that, but Cloud9 just, you know, they're able to just one up Andbox effectively. So such as it is, we'll have to see if there's any recovery here. Doug, it's, you know, it's never over till it's over, but it's going to be tough.
Early presence out of Andbox into Garage in order to get that ult orb into the pockets of Mata, one step closer to bringing the showstopper online. Meanwhile, Cloud9 feeling some of that pressure, gladly take the middle of the map, dash across his screen, Leaf's able to turn around, hit him with the 180 and the shots to clean him up as well. Zeta does a bit of the same. Cloud9 have control of A.
Yeah, some great movement from Cloud9. Not too much to do really to try to retake this site. I mean, oh, look at the paint shells in, but there is someone waiting for him to spawn, and it's Mitch. And that's 10 for Cloud9 with a 6-round advantage as we go into the buy rounds for both sides. Although, as I say that, of course, you know, get that bonus, that carryover for Cloud9, having all that success. The Spectres will come through. Might see one upgrade, perhaps. You can drop a gun to Floppy, but actually Floppy's going to purchase a Spectre himself. So, with that said, one would expect that they would have a play behind this to take early action with these suboptimal weapons, but it looks like they're playing standard.
Here.
Well, and the thing is, Cloud9 has such a comfortable lead, right? Like, they can play this a bit slowly. They can afford to drop a couple of rounds. Meanwhile, on the side of Andbox, you lose this round, and dog, things don't look good.
Oh, that's great info. Now they know they can just walk up a ramp, not have to worry about players on either side. And you can get some close-range fights up there if you use the utility correctly. And look at how the Sky utility is used to get all this info. They know A Heaven's totally open right now. So once again, they can go through ropes. And Mitch is able to punish Sep, who was pushing through B main to get that info. They thought it was guaranteed a committed A play, but no. In actual fact, Cloud9 have once again left themselves open the opportunity to go through ropes to go back to B.
Boy, on an island on B, the paranoia clearing out the space as Leaf dashes his way across, blast packs his way in. Boy, understanding the pressure is in his front step. He's good for one, but he gets traded out. As Cloud9 have taken control of the site. Andbox has to show up and fight to take this bad boy back, and that's exactly what Vice has been able to do up until this point. Now Mata looking to move forward as well as Poise tries to get the spike down. Leaf good to draw more attention away, buy him just enough space, enough time to get the spike down. Leaf looking for more. No. Mata takes care of him. Poise looking for a second. Yep, gets it. Drops things down to a 1v1. He's got 10 health. Vice is 10 health. Poise with the huge clutch from Cloud9 to arguably, Dan, put the nail in the coffin on Andbox here.
Yeah, that's a tough one. That is a tough one to be on the receiving end of. Andbox, they are certainly in the doldrums. And it's not like Haven, where they're always able to find a way back. And maybe, you know, in these last moments where they're back against the wall, we're going to see something that will show some light at the end of the tunnel here for their efforts. But we'll see what they opt to go for here. Of course, you know, buy against buy. The money is pretty stretched for Andbox, so they're having to make some concessions, not with the weaponry that they want. And they've given up presence in mid in favor of having 4 players towards this B main position. Boys will just hold on to Ramen, and they do have Floppy holding on to any push on A main, but they're trying to force out, they're going to get that orb control and force out utility. Okay, they burned the Paranoia. That's a big win. What they could try to do here is reset back into mid and then go back to B, now knowing that there's no Paranoia to stop them. But with that said, there's a lot more to worry about, so I'm really trying to find anything I can that will help Andbox in this round.
Yay! All right, that helps. But that's all the help that they're going to get. Ye was in a great spot, but now the middle of the map is wide open. Mata with the blast all the way across. He is able to connect with the showstopper, given all of what was in his face. Could hardly see past the utility, but managed to land the death blow. Anyway, the flashes are going to come out. You see both teams scurrying over towards A, and as soon as they get the rotation from Andbox, Cloud9 pull the rope on it again, exposing the middle of the map, and it's actually Mitch this time who's going to be able to get there aggressively first. Boy shows up just a bit late. He drops. It's actually Poise who shows up in the nick of time to do it, but Mata and Seb good for a couple. Poise with 3. He's got the Empress online as well in a 1v2. Poise slowly playing around the pillar, not making a drop of sound. He's quietly looking to get away, but Dan, he doesn't have the spike in hand. He's got 11 seconds. He's got to do something here soon. Drops down. Just a few seconds. Poise, no. Poise not able to do it. Mata shows up with 3 with the Spectre. What a response from Andbox.
Yeah, that was really awesome that they were able to find a way to turn that one around. They were, as you said, they were getting just played like a puppet there. All the strings getting pulled by Cloud9, just manipulating their rotations, understanding how to abuse the rotations, and they had such a great position here, but Seb, that kill on Zeta, that really just helped keep them in it, and Mata somehow with the Spectre just holding it with such strong nerve, and that's 5 to 11. It's still a big deficit, but that's something to work from at least. Money is not amazing for Cloud9, so we'll see Cloud9 playing that early default there with the Ice Orb, Paint Shells combo, just preventing anything from being done on B main. So they have that control. Dark Cover being sent forwards does allow a later take of that position. So that's really nice that Cloud9 are doing, Andbox are doing that, I should say. And they've got 4 players towards B here. They're playing at A retake right now, Doug. That's the gamble here for Andbox.
Well, and you wonder with how many times Cloud9 has gotten in towards A and then really flipped it right back. You just kind of wonder if Andbox is, well, we're not going to get caught by this again. We're just really going to anchor down on B. And as you said, if we need a retake on A, then so be it. But we're not going to be had a 3rd time.
But you can see the Dark Cover in B main. As I said, the late take came in, and that gave the information to Andbox to allow them to play players into A after having the B stack. And they're ahead of the push, actually. So Andbox have done a really good job in the way that they set up this round, and their timings are good. The only issue is that this showstopper could make an entry difference, and it's not going to land from Leaf. And instead, it's going to have to be in a retake right now. It doesn't seem like there can be any way to stop this spike from going down, but they can spend the time, Doug, just coordinating around Heaven and Screens to get control back against this spike.
Putting the spike in the hands of Zeta as he tries to get it down. Andbox are just now starting to show up. Boys just flashed to high heaven. Wasn't able to see a damn thing. He's going to fall off ice. Good for 2. Looking for the 3rd. No. But it's Mata who gets it as well. Leaf left alone. Leaf good for 1. Not able to get anything other than that. Andbox yet another round. And Dan, like we mentioned at the beginning of this round, yeah, Floppy had a Sheriff, but otherwise, that was full rifles. That was full armor. That was not necessarily a super weak Cloud9.
Yeah, definitely. And again, I think it's just, I just really love how Andbox set up the beginning of their round. They to just recap it very quickly, they play the A retake, they put the Dark Cover in B main, so despite the default hitting B main and they lose that control early, the Dark Cover's still there for them to play into it afterwards. They get that B main control. There's no one there, that means they can rotate everybody to A, and they're ready to go. They have so much time for the retake, and now that, really gives them the ability to play with some momentum here, and Mie's going to just jiggle this mid position. He's doing a lot by himself. As a Sage, very scary. Doesn't want to burn this wall too early on. Another Ice Orb to slow the progress. And Ye is just, his pace right now. He's so active. He really wants to get a fight. He's getting that info. And we've got the Viper's Pit activated towards A main at the same time. So Andbox are really trying to encourage C9 to go towards the B side of the map right now.
Encourage is a very kind way to put what they're trying to do here. Again, the Viper's Pit still blocking any sort of entrance towards A, but for Cloud9, Floppy, understanding no one's pushing his way through, they're going to draw some of that back. And they may not, Dan, given how much time is left in the round or how much time has already passed, they may not have a choice.
So smart. It's like they put the Viper's Pit down to stack people on B. So the bluff is called right now. The attack comes through the Viper's Pit where there's not going to be a defense because they're reliant on that ult to just hold it down by itself. And now they have an opening on the A side. It's going to be a tough one here for Cloud9. They are outmanned and outgunned, but where there's a will, there's a way. In a 2 versus 4. Oh, the reach ult is going to be popped, but Poise manages to dodge it. Can't dismiss in time, leaving it to Zede. Picks up the Phantom, but it's too late for him. Again, good effort. It's it is so funny. I can't wait until there's a team that does the Viper's Pit and then stacks the site with the Viper's Pit. You know,
just full
gambling on the yeah, exactly. Just gamble on them, the mind games. But 7-11 and Andbox, they're back in this one, Doug. They really are.
And it looks like we are stepping into a pause right now. Cloud9's taking a bit of a moment to kind of regain and talk through things, which gives us a perfect opportunity to once again kind of highlight what Andbox was trying to do there. So let's start all the way at the top, right? Dan, you mentioned Vice using the Viper's Pit at the entrance to A right off the bat, right? At that point, very similar to the dark cover conversation we've been having the entire series, you're guessing, right? Like you can't comfortably walk into that because, as you said, while it hasn't happened, and I'm anxiously waiting for it as well, there may be a 5-stack on the other side of that green goo waiting to mow you down. So you don't comfortably have A as an option. Then you see them slowly test the waters across the middle of the map, and then guess what? Ye just walls that up while they've been able to take some presence across Garage and B. So you, by process of elimination, you understand they don't have any options. They have to go into one of those 3, and none of them are good.
Exactly. And right now, ooh, we actually get a wall pop straight away from Ye. And what does that tell them? You know, Ye's usually playing mid. So we get 3 players on male right now for Cloud9, or rather, sorry, from Andbox, as they take mid control. So they already have a retake ready to go, and all the lineup for Ye! Oh, you get 3 out of it. That's enormous, and it's gonna have to be a quick from the shadows play to get some more control, but I don't know what there is to do here for Floppy and Zeta. As I say that, Zeta just charged straight through them, bulldozing them through A Heaven, and once again, it's these shenanigans up ropes into B.
You gotta go, baby. You gotta go. Floppy using From the Shadows to ensure that there's nobody on B.
Cover going out.
That's exactly what he's gonna find out. It's an open site. Zeta's gonna be able to get the spike down, and now it's on Andbox, Vice, and Seb as they try to retake the site. And it looks like they're both gonna be pushing in from Heaven, so good bit of utility. Okay, and that's the thing, the utility from Zeta. They know where that retake is coming in from. Right, Floppy's gonna continue to go in. The paranoia is there. Zeta just buying time for Floppy to get into a great position. Zeta's there, spots one of the players, and again, keep an eye on Floppy. Vice tapping Floppy, good for 1. And oh my gosh, Vice looking to swing and hit him with the freaking haymaker, and the ball's on this guy. He might stick it. He's got to pull off. Floppy goes in aggressive. Floppy challenges, and Floppy wins. Cloud9 get to map point.
That was so beautiful. So, I mean, it looks so doable. The efforts there from Vice. I was just loving just watching that play out in that 2v2. But as you say, Cloud9 on the precipice now of pushing themselves into that Challengers final, into that top 4. And that spray down from Ye looks just... I mean, it seemed impossible to come back from that point. But Zeta was able to show that he can do just as well. And... oh, it's going to be a tough one for Andbox, but they have shown us a lot of success on this defense. They've got a lot of maneuvers, but looks like Cloud9 might try to finish this one off in explosive fashion up against the Viper wall here. They don't have to wait it out necessarily. It really depends on what they think is behind that wall. That's really the question. If they have any reads. And there goes the dart. Cover to allow the cross towards A Heaven. And usually we'll see a Sky Flash thrown up here so they can get information. But instead, you know, Poise is going to dry peek that against Ye. And that's a 5v4 early advantage for Cloud9.
There's that Sky Flash that you mentioned. Mata able to dodge it out. So no info gathered. Aaron for Cloud9 after that dry peek. They didn't fully pull the trigger. They actually showed a little bit across the middle of the map, and Andbox had no choice but to kind of respond. They have to respect that. But you even see on the minimap right now, the ping's coming out because they know where they want to hit the play. It's going to be a hit on A as the smokes drop. Now, the one thing is that Mitch is playing back pretty cautiously. Leaf drops first. No, they are going to commit. Nada blasting his way across the showstopper. Connects. Mitch is out. Rez offline. Spike is dropped as well.
30 seconds left.
Ooh, lurker on screens might yield something for Poise. If there's able to be a distraction, it doesn't really seem like there's a huge awareness for his position.
And Floppy.
So see what Poise is able to find. It's going to be very difficult, but an opportunity is an opportunity, and Poise is going to get the heal. Oh, there's a second! And now it's just down to Poise. He's lost all of his teammates, and Boy will shut it down. And that is Andbox still surviving. They're still in this one. It's not over just yet. 4 rounds to go to secure that overtime to force the third map.
And Boy there, Dan, it was really Boy who kind of won them that round and put them out of the terrible spot that they were in, because as we mentioned, Poise was pushing in from one side, from screens, Floppy was pushing in from ropes, and they were just sitting ducks there. They had an excellent crossfire where they had all of the sight to work with, but the kill from Boy onto Floppy and then the flash to take care of Poise as well really won Andbox that round and put us to be able to play another one. Now, they've got some mixed weapons, right? Like Vice and Ye are both going to have Spectres, rifles the rest of the way, and for Cloud9, I mean, it's even worse.
Loving the Ice Orb Linus to prevent any quick peeks from Heaven, but it doesn't even get that far because Boy's going to shut it down again. Oh, awesome round there from Andbox. Seeing all this potential, like all these, the Ice Orb going into Heaven, but that all presupposes that they can get out the initial choke point, which never happened.
So Andbox once again showing that they refuse to go down without a fight. The defensive side of this map has been so much more kind and really generous to them as they've gotten themselves to this point. Boy has the Rolling Thunder. Imagine they might try to hang on to that for a retake, while for Cloud9, they still have that res in the back pocket of Mitch, the Seekers, and the Empress as well. And a different wall spot here from Ye.
A lot of play once again around B main, but the wall is up. And right now there is no key. Ye has the key, so he's got the operator in hand, and oh, they're jiggling. They know what Ye likes to do here. Of course, we saw the same thing from Mitch, actually, playing the operator with the Sage on that position behind that wall. So it's a great little tactic. The presence is being felt here, but at the same time, we might get an information play coming in from Andbox elsewhere, because they've got to wonder. They're being entertained right now on this B main control, but it feels a lot worse than maybe it is. And Vice will take down Floppy as the lurk. That should tell them quite a lot, Doug.
You just saw the flash come out from Zeta as well. And now the Seekers are going to come out, so they're fully committing onto this thing. The Rolling Thunder is actually coming in to try to pinch anything across the middle of the map as they're going to blast onto the site. Leaf not able to connect onto anything but the Showstopper, but they've taken some presence onto the site. Leaf, Mitch, and Zeta are extinguishing Andbox's hopes. Vice with 11 health in a 1v4, trying to will Andbox into another round. And this looks like such a difficult ask, Dan.
It really does seem like a terrifying position for Vice to be in. 11 health, really not really anything going his way. 4 players to be up against. Able to take down one. And with that, Vice is just trying to understand any other possible position he could play, but there is none. That's checkmate. That's